Hi friends, welcome to the certified course on processors by Engineers Group. I am Dr. S. Karunakaran. In this lecture, we are going to discuss about the world of electronics. You might wonder, why does we start with world of electronics in a lecture on processors? Let me explain. In today's world, our lifestyle has been changed and controlled by electronics. Every technological invention is being influenced by electronics, and in turn, every electronic circuit includes a processor or a controller. Processor acts as the brain of every technology, including communication, robotics, artificial intelligence, and IoT. Hence, the role of processors is inevitable in the world of electronics. Let's go to the course plan. Let us see the course plan first. Start with what is a computer and CPU. Then we move on from CPU of a computer to microprocessors. Later, from microprocessor to the need of microcontrollers. Then the evolution of communication due to the influence of processors. Finally, with the applications of processors and their classification. Shall we start? Okay. Let's start with a question. What is a computer? A machine that can execute a sequence of arithmetic and logical operations through a group of instructions is called a program, is called as a computer. How many of you remember the block diagram of a computer that was taught to you in the first computer science class in school? Do you remember? It contains four blocks: input device, central processing unit, output device, and memory unit. I hope you might have recollected it by now. It feels great to recollect our memories from school days, isn't it? We have also been taught that arithmetic and logical unit and control unit are the main blocks of a CPU. We were taught with this block diagram during our adolescent age. Now we are grown up and well educated adults. Do you still believe that this block diagram holds good? The answer is yes. The same block diagram holds good till date, and we are going to learn about the current technology and an application by expanding from this simple block diagram. So, we are going to expand this block diagram to understand microprocessor. Again, let me start with a question. What is a microprocessor? Microprocessor is an integrated chip which can execute a sequence of arithmetic and logical operations through a group of instructions called a program. Do you think my answer was same as that of a computer? No, but it was almost similar. There is a simple difference between a computer and a processor. Computer is a machine and processor is a chip. So processor is a part of the CPU. A processor contains ALU, control unit, and registers. Registers are present inside the processor but not mentioned in CPU, as it would increase the complexity and would have been difficult to understand if taught in our school days. What are registers? The internal storage space used to store temporary data for the ALU. This block diagram is similar to CPU, but it is not a CPU. Memory unit was connected to CPU, which we have mentioned specifically as ROM and RAM. ROM stands for read-only memory, used to store permanent information. RAM stands for random access memory or read-write memory, used to store easily accessible and erasable temporary data. Next, we have serial ports and IO ports. This is the interface point where our input and output devices are connected and the transfer of information between processor and the peripherals takes place. The other important supporting units that are very much needed for a processor in any kind of application are the timers and the interrupt controller circuits. In this, the block at the center is the microprocessor, which is a separate integrated chip. Then what are the other blocks around the processor? Those are the supporting units required for a microprocessor to develop into a full-fledged system or a CPU. Those supporting units are called interfacing devices, which are individual integrated chips. Microprocessor, along with all these interfacing ICs, becomes the motherboard of a CPU. Now with this system, we can develop a full-fledged application system or a computer system. Now let us move on to our next topic, microcontrollers. What is a microcontroller? Microcontroller is said to be a single chip computer, but less sophisticated than that. Before going deeper into a microcontroller, let me ask a question. Why do we need a less sophisticated microcontroller when we have full-fledged system using microprocessor? I think you can understand better if I ask the same question with a different analogy. When will you use a less sophisticated bike when you have a car at home? Did my second question answer the first question? When we have a simple or a specific task to be executed, we go for microcontroller as it has restrictions and limitations with its features. What do we call this block diagram? This block diagram is said to be the microprocessor based system or a microprocessor along with supporting ICs, right? But what do we call it when all these features are provided within a single integrated chip? Microcontroller. Yes, you heard it right. It is called as a microcontroller. Hence, we call it as a single chip computer. But why do we call it as a less sophisticated device? Yes, it is because when all these features has to be dumped into a single integrated chip, then we have to limit their functionalities. Hence, it becomes less sophisticated. Now, let me show you two images. Can you differentiate both the images and can you compare both these images? On the left, we have a brain and on the right, we have a human. Can you differentiate both? A brain cannot perform a task on its own, whereas a human can perform any task. Can you compare both? Brain is responsible for the human to perform any task, and brain is an integral part of human system. So what do we understand from this? A brain can perform any task only with the supporting units like our eyes, ears, nose, mouth, hands and legs when connected to it. Similarly, a processor can perform any task only with supporting devices called interfacing ICs. Whereas a microcontroller is like a human where all the supporting units are internally connected similar to a microcontroller. Since microcontrollers have constraints and limitations, we use them for simple and specific purpose applications. Since microprocessors do not have any constraints and limitations, we use them for general purpose or multitasking applications. Any application that uses controller can be developed by using a processor, and any application that uses a processor can be replaced using a controller with limitations. Hence, I call them as alternative resources. Let us get into the applications of processors and controllers. Even a common man should be aware of these applications of processors and controllers because engineering is not anymore a study. Engineering is a part of our life. To justify this statement, let me give examples of applications that uses processors or controllers in our home. To start with the video door calling system at the entrance, to the water level controller installed in the overhead tank, we come across a multiple number of devices that uses processors and controllers. To mention a few: television, set-top box, home theater system, induction stove, microwave oven, refrigerator, washing machine, air conditioner, personal computer, laptop, mobile, tablet, smartwatch, bike, car, inverter, etc. etc. Is this list enough? No, I have missed many like a dishwasher, digital camera, printer, broadband modem, Wi-Fi router, coffee maker, CCTV, DVR, etc. Now, we will see the evolution of mobile technology and communication, compare them with the processor technology. Let's start from 1980s. 40 years back, when the first handheld mobile telephone was introduced in the market, it used a microcontroller. Later, we moved on to an advanced phone with GPS and photo camera in 2000, still using controllers. Our needs never has a limit. We never restricted our dreams of bringing everything in this world into our palms through smartphones. Did we stop with a photo camera? We wanted video camera. Did we stop with a video recording? We wanted video sharing. Did we stop with sharing emails? We wanted instant update in social media. Did we stop with text chat? We wanted voice chat, video chat, online, and now even online classes. Did we stop with communication? We wanted it to guide through locations, check our heart rate, transfer money, and what not, except asking for a fridge and a washing machine inside a mobile. We have expected everything in this in a single palm sized device. Do you think that all these technological advancements and all our dreams has been brought to reality only because of the advancements in the field of communication? All these were possible only because of the advancements in the processor technology. When the simple handheld mobile telephone started, it expanded beyond the boundaries. The limitations and constraints has been shattered. This was possible only when the application using controllers has been replaced with more sophisticated processors, which never has a limit in functionalities. Every application falls under any one of the two categories. They are open loop system or a closed loop system. Open loop system gets the input, processes the output, and displays it or stores it as an output. Whereas a closed loop system gets a partial output as a feedback and gives it along with the input to process back again. So we call it as a closed loop system. Let us consider an air conditioner as an example for both these categories. Consider the working of a normal air conditioner. microcontrollers gets the input from the user through remote, detects the temperature or value or a function, and based on that drives the relays for output loads, controls the speed of the compressor to maintain the set temperature value. This is the normal function of a regular air conditioner. This is an example for open loop application. Consider the same application in an advanced air conditioner with latest technology, where the air conditioner has a human detection sensor to detect the position of the human in the room, and the controller changes the direction of airflow automatically and continuously whenever the position of the human changes along with it. Along with this, if it can detect the intensity of human activity, the controller reduces or increases the speed of compressor. Since these two actions of a controller in an air conditioner is continuously varying, it falls under the closed loop system. This is just an introduction to applications of processors and controllers. We will see the blocks and working of individual applications in our next video. Let us close this session with a question. When does a washing machine work in open loop? When does a washing machine works in a closed loop? I leave it to you. The certificates will be provided only to those who complete the assessment given in the link. This video will